times are hard, the devil is a-comin' with a checkbook in his hand. He's not coming to buy your soul, he just wants to lease your land. He's a-gonna be drilling, he'll be drilling down deep, the devil calls it fracking. Let's listen to the music of his lying tongue, and then we'll send him packing. And then we'll send him packing. Oh, the company men with the words of honey back by the mountains of a
In our 60 years, we have never found these fractures going up to the surface. It just has never happened in 800,000 wells.
When I went to the United States in April and May of 2013 to collect the Goldman Environmental Prize, and I took the opportunity to then travel rural America from Colorado to Texas, from California to Pennsylvania. And this is one of many cases that I met. This lady and her husband put their life savings into a property in a rural village in Pennsylvania, and they didn't realize that the person that they bought the land from had signed away the oil and gas rights to a gas company, who came very shortly after they took over and started drilling, and there was nothing that they could do to stop them. First of all, they're not the type of people that have money to take an oil company to court, and secondly, they would have lost because it was a cast iron contract. So she's now in a position where they cannot use the water from their water well anymore. Water is delivered to them in a big plastic container called a water buffalo.
People will go into your town and buy up a 300-acre field or a 100-acre field or whatever just for the mineral rights. They don't live there. So they don't care that they're going to use that for a compressor station and that there's houses right across the road from there that are going to be breathing that in. Yeah. People are just seeing dollar signs. Greed is taking over. It's like the gold rush. Don't sell your soul. That's all I have to say. Don't sell your soul. God gave us this planet and the water that's here and the air, and we're screwing up big time over here. Don't do it.
Footage you're about to see here was shot in Pennsylvania at the Sutner residence in Carter Road, DeMock County, and I'm about to show you what the industry will typically deny, that there has been not a single case of water contamination from hydraulic fracturing. Sutner residence is set in the Pennsylvania woods, and it was once a happy family home. It's now an empty house, and I've been told that it is owned by Cabot Oil and Gas, who purchased it from the Sutners for $160,000. DeMock County was in the middle of a lot of controversy surrounding the alleged contamination of water supplies. Now the question that we have to ask ourselves is that why would a family leave a home like this, and why would an oil company buy it for $160,000 and not use it as an office or for some other form perhaps of staff accommodation? It would appear that the reason that nobody lives here is because the water supply has been damaged and that one cannot drink the water from this home anymore. In my experience, the oil and gas industry on the business of selling oil and gas, not owning property. I'm going to show you some footage now of well pads. I stayed at a guest house 2 miles down the road from a well that Shell had completed in Pennsylvania, and became aware that we only used drinking water that was purchased from the shops for drinking and for cooking, and that the shower water, which stank like rotten eggs, was not suitable for drinking, and in fact the family doesn't use the water from their well at all for human consumption. We were also told by Shell, I believe, in South Africa that there wouldn't be any flaring. It was interesting to see that this specific well, 2 miles from where I was staying, had a flare running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Apparently this is something that is done after the well has been fracked and before they actually start using the gas, putting it into either a tanker or into a pipeline. But certainly this is something that you would see in South Africa, and it would be tens of thousands of wells involved. It doesn't flare continually for the life of the well, and rather when the flaring is finished, they will allow volatile organic compounds to vent into the atmosphere. They of course are not visible, although equally harmful, very dangerous for human consumption. Something else, of course, is the impact on the Karoo roads. And if you look at the scope and scale of, you will see now an example of a water containment area where they would bring fresh water in for the fracking and take residual waste away, perhaps to be recycled. Something like this could service 2 or 3 frack pads or more, but when I took this footage, this was servicing only one fracking operation, which was situated just down below these tanks. As you can see, this operation alone, just the water, never mind the fracking pad itself, is a lot larger than the football field size area that is claimed by Shell in South Africa. Interestingly, also the trucks that you will see in the footage that's coming now were not photographed twice. These run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it begs the question that if the Americans are battling to handle the impact on their roads and their traffic conditions with all of their infrastructure, how will South Africa manage it? And this is something that's not been considered in this country. It's an unanswered question, and just have a look at the volume of trucks that we could expect on Karoo roads. This runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is really something awesome to behold. Local residents, including the mothers that need to take their children to school, are naturally quite cautious about using the roads to get their kids to school and back with this sort of traffic. It is it's an unanswered question, just the same as the wastewater. Where will toxic wastewater go to? You can see the residual waste labels on some of the trucks, and that stuff goes everywhere. Can you imagine this on the roads of South Africa between Graafrenet, Sutherland, Fraserburg, Loxton, Beaufort West, the Central Karoo, on our national road even. So when I went across to America, I was certainly already very much opposed to fracking. I'd been in the campaign for 2.5 years. After touring the United States and meeting people that have got no financial interest, that have got no reason to say the things that they do, people who don't want fracking, where they grow their vegetables, send their children to school, raise their families, get their drinking water, it has made me even more determined to keep this technology, this unsustainable, dangerous and damaging technology, out of this country. It is not the way forward for South Africa. I hope that this video has assisted in revealing the truth to you about fracking, and I encourage you to look out for our next episode, which will be released shortly.
Oggend by 'n petrolstasie, kattebakkers vol bagasie besig om my tank met petrol vol te maak. Ek so pad na die Karoo, na my huis af ver daarvoor, is 'n plek wat elke Afrikaner raak. Vat jou goed en pak, vrak, jou geldjies in jou sak, vrak, ons almal staan, ons hart in jou skelm, so pak, vrak. My radio is hard, die neusleser deel haar smart, dat Shell nou op ons lande wil kom dra.